In this project, it's been really interesting because I didn't really think that worship leaders really used emotional labor, and as I began to do this project and dig a little deeper as to what emotional labor for a worship team meant, it was really interesting to find that churches are really similar to that of a regular organization. I feel that most of the time, whereas in work it's used, I think, sometimes to turn a profit, in church it's more it's more for the people's benefit. Yeah, honestly, trying to get people engaged in worship is a very difficult task, because some people, there are different stages in their walks of life. Some people are more conservative and they'd really rather just not stand or lift their hands or jump up and down or be that excited. They'd rather just sit and soak and just kind of listen to the music, I guess is the easiest way to say it. The emotion that I try and tap into the most is just being joyful and just fully immersing myself in His presence, because when I'm in His presence, that there's joy there, and I try and just kind of go to that place where it's just me and Him, it's just me and the Lord, and just being able to portray that to the congregation, that they, if I have joy despite my circumstances, then so can you. You can still have joy and hope and peace despite everything that's going on around you. And every once in a while I do get emotional, but it's not a bad emotional. It'll just be an emotion of like I'm overwhelmed with how much God has blessed me and how much favor I have in my life, and for just what He's doing in my life. And so most of the time it's joy, but sometimes I guess it goes to a more a calmer and a more peaceful. Sometimes I even cry a lot, when I'm up on stage, but not because it's out of hurt or anger or fear, but it's just out of being overwhelmed, and I feel like it's authentic. What helps me, I guess, feel more inspired or get that joy back is just praying, really, and it's my spiritual connection with the Holy Spirit, with the Lord, and asking Him for that peace, asking Him for that joy when I don't feel it. Even sometimes though we get tired and we get hurt just like everybody else. It's this idea that for us, what gets us through is God. When God's at the forefront, that's when it becomes this real experience. I just think that worship leaders have such a great responsibility that are placed upon them, and just loving their congregation and giving their congregation hope when they feel like there isn't hope. The worship team is just a tool, I think, that the Holy Spirit uses and that God uses. We do have a big part in allowing them just to see God's love and to getting to a better place. Worship becomes no longer a performance when it becomes a reality for us, and it's this idea that we're able to connect with God in such a personal way that you even forget the team and that the congregation is even there. And a lot of times for me, it comes from when I begin to just, I think, pray on my own, when I begin to sing on my own. Even if I'm on stage, I start, going over the promises that God's spoken over me, and it's really connecting with Him in that personal way, and listening to the words that I'm singing and understanding and comprehending the meaning behind those words, and then believing them for myself. And that's when, regardless of what's happened, during my week or even that morning or that day, I'm able to go into this place where, God's love and just His desire for me just to love Him unconditionally and wholeheartedly becomes so real. For most people, it's an experience, they want to have an experience with God. They're not really coming for the worship team. Like I said, the worship team is just a vessel. We're just tools that are used to host the presence of God. But that's what's so key. Most people that go to a concert, it's more for like the entertainment. But people that go into a church, and especially that want to be involved in worship, they want it because they want to encounter God. They want a personal relationship. So this research project has been an incredible, eye-opening experience for me.